Well, hey guys, just thought I'd shoot a quick video. I had somebody ask a question on one of the comments, one of the recent videos that just posted, and wanted to know about the twinkle lights, what they look like. The when we talk about seeing movement and stuff like that, and this is something that um, was recently addressed, but also, that I have addressed on several videos throughout the years. So I'm going to address it again. Um, but I would like to point out, it's not out of aggravation or that I'm upset somebody's asking a question or anything like that. What I would ask though is, when you come to a channel and you watch a video, um, I understand it's difficult to go all the way back to the beginning and watch all the videos. Um, but with the content that I have produced on my channel, Arizona Squatch, and what we're doing with the Arizona 4, there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be put out, as well as there has been a lot of information that has been put out. So I will go ahead and address this again. But what I ask is that if we're going to take the time, to put this content out, and we're taking the time, being out in the wilderness, experiencing the forest people, and learning some things from them. It's just a lot easier, I guess. What I'm trying to say is, go back to the beginning of all of this. If you can, if you have time, or if you're willing to, because there's no bad questions. It's just, over a period of 8 years, you get asked the same thing over and over and over and over again, from people, that are newly subscribed. It gets a little taxing, just because of the amount of time that is put into, making these videos and getting this information out. So I'll go ahead and address this again. It's not a big deal to rehash some of this stuff, and sometimes it's a good thing to rehash it. Okay, so twinkle lights. They're little pinpoints of light. Kind of resembles a firefly, lightning bugs. Kind of resembles that, but it's completely different, much brighter. It's just this little itty bitty LED that pops on and pops off. Sometimes they'll come on and they'll stay on for a second or two. I've seen them come, as long as 5 or 6 seconds. And that's rare that they're that long. Normally they just kind of pop on and then they pop back off. Some of them are green, some are blue, some are white, some are yellow, some are red. There's no rhyme or reason to it, other than this is the phenomenon that happens when the forest people are around. To be able to say emphatically, what this is, I can't. I can give you my best guess, from experience, what I've experienced out in the wild, out in the middle of nowhere. For example, I watched a forest person go from full solid into the shimmering image, what people like to call cloaking, into the twinkle light, this little light, and then into nothing. So it was like 4 different phases. How they do it, I don't know. I quit asking how they do stuff. It's just they do what they do and they do it. So a lot of people will want to call these orbs. I don't believe that they're orbs. I've seen orbs. I've seen big orbs, but these seem to be a little different. It's just this real intense little pss, pss, light that pops on and off. One of the other questions that was asked was, when I see movement, or when we see movement, that, is it just like a shadow, or is it a full embodied? Well, here's the bottom line to it. Most of the time, it is so dark, it's hard to differentiate exactly what we're seeing, other than you see the movement. You see something moving. Can I define dogmatically what that is when it's super dark like that? No, I can't. But what I can say is that with the type of interactions that are going on, with the amount of time that we have spent out, you start understanding some of the stuff that's going on. But so this last trip, when it was talking about, could see movement, it was full body. We were under damn near a full moon. It was pretty bright out. They stayed, the distance away from us. Typically, if it's real dark out, they'll come in closer. If it's bright out, half moon to full moon, they'll keep their distance. And typically when it's bright out like that, the distance that they keep is typically around anywhere from 50 to 90 yards away. But again, that also depends on the surroundings. Is it, depending on the site we're at, is it more open, is it more enclosed, so there's a lot of variables to it. But so when it's more light out, they're going to stay farther away. So what we saw was full body, solid figures, running, walking, going from one tree to another. So there were many individuals all around us, and it just continued to stay busy like that. Like seeing a mist, or a shadow. I think what a lot of gets confused with that is, when they're doing what, and I hate the term cloaking. I say this over and over. I hate the term cloaking. But they do have that appearance that, it's like the movie Predator. It just is like that. So that could be what some people are, seeing with, they describe as a shadow or something like that, so I don't know what other people are seeing when and how they describe it. All I can tell you is what I see and how we describe it. So when I'm given videos, or we are given videos, and we talk about movement, typically I'm going to say, it was, there was a shimmering image, and, could see that moving around, or, a full body, full solid. It just varies. So the easiest way to say it is, I'm seeing movement. But, so I just wanted to address this real quick. Sometimes in comments it may come off that, I'm being a little abrupt, and that's not the case. And I don't mind answering questions. It's just, I please ask that, you do your diligence, and look at the stuff that we're producing. I don't expect you to go over to my page and watch everything from the beginning, up to now. It wouldn't hurt. It would give you an idea of where I started at and where I'm at today and where we are at. But with that being said, I'm going to call this one. I'm at 10 minutes, so peace out.